I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, get out of the building. And I'm running as fast as I can run. They're just coming down off the scaffold like monkeys. All of a sudden, the wind hits.
I want to welcome you back again for another story answering the question, is God active? Today, I have the privilege of introducing you to my father, Burke Hyman. And he is going to share a story that I know you're going to want to hear. Dad, tell us the project you were on at the time where the story took place.
Yeah, we're in right by the McDonald's in a commercial area, building a couple of buildings. And it's a day like every other, you know, the sun is shining and everything looks good. I'm laying blocks. The guys at the far side where they're building a racquetball court are near the top of the building. So they've got 3 sections of scaffold up and they're working the top few rows. Now these are walls that are one after another because they hold these racquetball courts. So we're building on this restaurant thing, and as I'm working, we're about 8 feet high, so we're just up on one scaffold. Anyway, I happen to look over my left shoulder, and I see a cloud. I mean, it was low. It was quite low on the mountain, and it was just coming at a speed. I've never seen a cloud like that in my life. And so instantly, it just made the hair stand up my neck because there's something you're really afraid of in construction, is you're afraid of wind in my type of construction because we're building these walls. They have no roof on them. So you're hanging them out there just like great big sails. So you're concerned, you know, to see all of a sudden the wind come at you. You could just blow the thing over. So I suddenly just freaked. So I'm yelling at the guys around me. I said, there's a wind coming. Get down, out of this place, get the cars away from the wall we're working on, which was only about 8 feet tall. And I start running down it's about a half a block down this road to the other building where my guys are working up on the scaffold. And I started yelling, get out of the building. Now I got a loud voice and I'm yelling, get out of the building, get out of the building. And I'm running as fast as I can run. I could run a little faster in those days. Anyway, as I get near it, I'm yelling at the top of my lungs. I see they're reacting. When they heard me, they realize that something's really wrong. So they don't even go for the ladders or anything. They're just coming down off the scaffold like monkeys. They're just going down, everyone where they're at. And as I'm watching, all of a sudden the wind hits as I'm running to it, And I realize all of a sudden we're in huge danger here. There's a bunch of great big cottonwoods where they have these big nests where bitterns stay and everything. All of a sudden, these trees just rip out of the ground as I'm watching. And I'm thinking, oh man, this is way worse than I thought. And I'm running now for a pile of blocks, a pallet of blocks, because I don't want to blow away myself. But as I'm watching and yelling, the wind hits. And so all of a sudden you see the wall and and I'm thinking, oh man, and then another gust and then it's done. And I see them start to collapse, just like a house of cards. Wow. It was so freaky to me. And now I see the guys too. This thing is falling. The wall is falling like a mousetrap, like what we used to call a deadfall. And it's falling completely flat on towards them. And they're running out. And as I'm watching, this is all a piece of timing that you can't even imagine. The adrenaline is really, I'm just watching now. And all of a sudden, the thing hits now. And there is this cloud of dust. And because of the wind and everything else, you can't see nothing. And I'm just hanging on for dear life on these blocks myself. And then all of a sudden the cloud of dust lifts. And I see the guys, so I quickly go over there and I say, okay, you guys, is everybody out? And so we do a head count. Everybody's okay. Oh man. And it was like my worst nightmare. You got to realize, because you've always sort of anticipated that wind like that. And it had never come before like that. So we get together. I go to turn around. The other building's down too. But the guys had gotten the cars away out of there, and everybody's okay. So we're all pretty high, adrenaline-wise. You know, I mean, we're like, so we say, okay, let's go to McDonald's and just sit down and calm down here. And so we're all talking. We're so thankful, None of us, we're like a team. We've worked together for years and everything. So now you're just the thought of having to, come close to losing somebody is just so terrible. Anyway, as we're talking there and having our little drink, the general contractor comes in. And so he says, is anybody hurt? Is anybody hurt? And he's now concerned, very concerned. I said, no, everything's good. Nobody's even hurt in any way. We all got out. Nothing is because now you've got to realize this building is flat. All those walls all just went one after another down. And so the whole building is just like a pile of rubble. The scaffold's all twisted up, from being it. Anyway, so he said, wow, he said, that's really good. He said, somebody is really looking after you. Mm. And I said, yeah, I couldn't believe it myself. I said, nobody got hurt. And then he said, no, I don't mean that only. He said, about an hour ago or 3/4 of an hour ago, our secretary all of a sudden became very berserk. She came and said to me, we have not insured this building. And I said, oh, okay, well, insure it then. So she went and insured it. So he said, maybe a half an hour ago, this building got insured.
Wow. He
said, you have nothing to worry about. It'll all be paid for. We'll just bulldoze everything off and you can start building again. And I was just shocked. I thought, wow. I walked out and there was a big rainbow. The storm was over and there was this great big rainbow. And I thought, my, thank God there's a God.
There's a text in the Bible, and it comes out of James chapter 4, verses 13 to 15. Now, this is what the Bible says. It says, look here, you who say, today or tomorrow we go to a certain town, we will stay there a year, we will do business, and will make a profit. However, you do not know that what your life will be like tomorrow. Your life is like the morning fog. It's here a little while and then it's gone. What you ought to say is, if the Lord wants us to, we will live and do this or that. As you've heard in the story of how my dad's project changed so fast, and then he was caught in something that was totally out of his control. So we find ourselves in situations that are not in our control. You may not know what tomorrow brings, but there is a God that is active. Join us next week as we continue to answer the question, is God active?